It's okay, dude. You can relax. The Leafs won.
I know, but we had the third period, the overtime, and the gold medal, and my heart just can't take it anymore.
You ready? Big news. What? Seriously?
No pigs yet.
What? What was he doing? Wow. Bring him on. Beautiful.
Well, that was close. Leafs win 6-5 in the shootout against the St. Louis Blues in a butt-ugly win, but a win nonetheless. You don't get 3 points for a pretty win. Started off pretty, though. Colby Armstrong tipping in a shot just 15 seconds into the game, and it's 1-0 Toronto. But Toronto's lead would be short-lived as former Leaf Alexander Steen ties the game up less than 4 minutes in. His 14th of the season, which means for just over a period, Alexander Steen would have been tied for the Leafs' goal-scoring lead if he was still on the team. Wow. And less than halfway through the first, the darling of many fantasy pools out there that measure points and penalty minutes, David Backes scores his 11th to make it 2-1 St. Louis and completely erase the Leafs' great 15-second start. And the comments in the Leaf Space live chat were hilarious because they're all like, come on, at least win this one after the gold medal game. I don't know if Mikhail Grabovski checks those chats during intermission, but during the second period, he snipes it, his 15th of the season. Take that, Alexander Steen. And it's a tie game. That goal set up by Clark MacArthur. You know, a lot of people have been getting on him for not scoring as much, but he's helping the guys around him score. I would love to know the percentage of Grabovski's goals that MacArthur has assisted on. Less than 2.5 minutes later, his Twitter's not real, but this goal is Chris Versteeg makes it 3-2. And speaking of playmakers, it's been difficult to find a guy that'll set up Phil Kessel. We should give this RoboCop guy a try. But Sobotka with the huge giveaway, pretty much tape to tape on Phil Kessel's stick. Halak has no time to prepare. Kessel scores, and it's a 4-2 lead. I think Kessel saw Grabovski got the goal-scoring lead, and he was like, no, my job. And Halak gets the big dirty hook. Ty Conklin is in. And if I had one criticism of Phil Kessel, it was this. Less than 2 minutes into the third period, Phil Kessel retakes the Leafs' goal-scoring lead, scoring his 16th of the season, and the Leafs are on top, 5-2. Do you have any idea what you've just done? Do you read the newspaper? Do you have any idea how dangerous it is to have a 3-goal lead in the third period? I mean, think of the consequences. What if Brad Winchester, Eric Brewer, and Matt D'Agostini scored to tie up the game at 5s? Because that's what happened. The Blues completely overwhelming the Leafs in the third period, getting them to make all sorts of mistakes, and they tie it up. Reminds me of what was a few years ago now. Al McInnes and the St. Louis Blues head into the third period down 5-0 against the Leafs, tie it up, and win in overtime. And often the first place you look when your team has a collapse like that is the goaltender. But after the game got tied, man, did Gustafsson make up for it. Save after save after save. He faced 44 shots in this game. Not great to have your goalie do when he's been sitting for a few games. Overtime solves nothing, so shiggity shootout. Alex Steen and Brad Boyce score in the shootout for the Blues. But the Blues' biggest mistake is they didn't have Carlo Koliakovo shoot. The formula was simple. Put in a former Leaf draft pick and he'll score. So for the Leafs, Mikhail Grabovski comes in. He's coming in on an angle. I think we've seen this before. Ty Conklin thinks he's seen this before because he's getting ready for it. Looking for that old backhander spinorama, right? And Grabovski does a full 360, shoots and scores in one of the best shootout goals this season. It reminded me a lot of Linus Omark's goal, except for, you know, it was a good shot and no one complained about it for no good reason. Interesting choice putting Chris Versteeg in the shootout because I noticed him missing the net a few times in overtime, but he scores. The Leafs have evened it up. Then on to Tyler Bozak, who has not been perfect, but his production's been steadily climbing lately. Also scores in the shootout. Now it's up to Patrick Berglund, who is a first-round pick, but not of the Leafs, and that was St. Louis's mistake. He loses the handle on the puck, and the Leafs win this one. Ugly, I know, but who cares? They won 6-5 in the shootout. I love how when I say that, it gets brighter outside. Oh, this is kind of cool. I like this. So, question of the game. You feel a little better. I know regular season Leaf game, gold medal game at the World Juniors doesn't quite compare, but you feel a little better?
Yeah, a little bit.
There you go, champ. Another question of the game, and it was a big part of the Leafs TV post-game show and the Leaf Space live chat. Mikhail Grabovski has as many goals as Evgeny Malkin and one more than Alex Ovechkin. How long can he keep this up? Or is this just the player Mikhail Grabovski is now? Not saying he's going to outscore Ovechkin and Malkin. Those guys are just underachieving from what's expected of them. But Mikhail Grabovski with 15 goals? Wow. And Phil Kessel, 4 goals and 7 points in the last 5 games. It's kind of funny that I just recently referenced the fact that Grabovski and Kessel never seem to score at the same time. But if they start, could the Leafs go on a little string of wins? Not asking for much, something like 4 of 6. Because there's a few gaps in the Eastern Conference and they got some climbing to do. Now the Leafs are heading to Atlanta to take on the Thrashers, where starting goaltender James Rymstevson will get the start. Oh, Ron Wilson's secrecy. Add me on LeafSpace.com, add me as a friend on Facebook, follow me on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, check out SteveDangle.com, and if you do all 4 of those things, your future will be bright. That or he just needs thicker blinds.